Every man has two voices inside him, the peasant and the king. The peasant wants cheap comfort and easy pleasure. He puts in just enough effort to survive, and the rest of his time he spends drowning his sorrows with the next quick hit. The king does not rest until he has tasted the blood of his enemies. He demands only conquest, and he will do whatever is required to achieve victory. Every man has these two voices inside him, and they're always at war, because they both want the exact same thing. They just want to keep us alive, but they disagree about the best method to achieve that. Because real talk, your brain doesn't care about your cute little goals and dreams. It's biologically programmed to take the path of least resistance in order to survive. To help explain, I'm going to tell you a very raw and recent story about how these two voices went to war inside me and who came out on top.
It was Thursday last week. I'm 4 days deep into a fast. Obviously, you could say I'm a little bit hungry, a little bit woozy. The caffeine is definitely helping. I'm pounding like 3 or 4 coffees a day. But I also added an extra secret ingredient to help with the appetite and just feeling focused. That ingredient is called a cheroot. Now, a cheroot is like a cigarette, but it's local, it's Asian, it's dirty. It looks a lot nicer than a cigarette, don't get me wrong. It's wrapped in this tobacco leaf, but the insides, they're just as bad, if not worse, because they're not regulated. Now, these things, they're tasty fuckers, I'm not gonna lie to you. A cigarette, you have it, you feel dirty while smoking it, you're like, you don't really want to get it down you until you get addicted, and then you can't wait to start puffing them away all day. But these cheroots, they have like a sweet, earthy taste to them, which lures you in. It makes you feel this false sense of security. Something this tasty can't be that bad, right? The logic. So anyway, I bought a 5-pack of these cheroots on Thursday because I wanted to have a fun nicotine and caffeine day, because I was fasting, I was, banging through some tasks, and I was just feeling the flow of momentum, and I wanted to elevate it to the next level. And so I bought this 5-pack of cheroots, which are cheap as dirt, honestly. A 5-pack cost 15 bahts, which is, my goodness, it's less than like 40p. 40p for 5 cigarettes. That's crazy. It tells you their quality, right? So anyway, I bought this 5-pack and I start vibing through my day. I have one, I enjoy it. I go for a little motorbike ride back to the mountains. I find a lovely nature trail. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm getting pretty into the thick of the jungle while still staying on the path. And I'm just having an incredible time. I'm climbing up the hill and I stumble onto the most gorgeous Buddhist temple you can imagine. I took a video of it while doing my fast. It's in the last video of that experience. Maybe I'll clip it, maybe I won't, maybe you can go find it yourself. Don't really matter to me. But yeah, I get to this Buddhist temple and I feel a deep sense of Zen, just peace. And I light up another cheroot, not inside the temple because that's very disrespectful and they don't allow that kind of shit. I go away to the side. I find a lovely view looking out over the city, like high on top of the mountain, and I feel like a king. I feel like a real G, just looking out with my cheap tobacco over the city. I finish this second cheroot and I move on with my day. I go back home, I start working through more tasks. I end up having that entire 5-pack over the course of the day. Every single time, the buzz is growing harder. And by the end of it, I'm at the gym, I'm punching the bag, I'm going absolutely crazy. It feels like I can go forever. You know, the cardio feels almost infinite, and the the consciousness, it's racing. I'm feeling high as hell, to be honest with you, because I'm not just fasting, I'm not just caffeinated, I'm now nicotined out the gizzards. And so I I got back home. I had an important meeting where I basically joined a team for a fitness company doing appointment setting for them. And that's basically what I'm doing now to make money in the meantime. But yeah, it was just a very vibrant day, full of energy, full of excitement. This nicotine, it gives you this sense of inspiration, of motivation. Obviously, it's completely artificial. It's just the chemicals going off in your brain. But yeah, the next day I woke up and I was immediately craving those cheroots again. I I wanted to smoke. I enjoyed the taste, the feeling in my lungs, the hit of nicotine immediately clicking. But I said to myself, no, I don't want to turn into an absolute cheroot demon, so I'm going to take it easy for the day. I had some nicotine gum, I'm not going to lie to you, because I still wanted to, feel the slight, buzz of focus. Nothing crazy, just 2, 3 pieces of gum throughout the day. And the gum is very weak. It's not like those disgusting pouches of Zins that are like 6 milligrams, some are 25. It's ridiculous. I went through the day, got done with my fast, and the next day it was time for my refeed to reintroduce back into society with my eating again. And so I decided, I get to eat again today, meaning it's a fun celebration day. What does that mean? Well, it's my brain's justification of saying, let's go buy some more cheroots. And I caved. I went and bought 8 this time. So I was definitely on a very slippery slope. I lit the first one up, went for a little walk, had that creative buzz of inspiration again, and came home. Immediately, I was pulled towards ChatGPT. I took a picture of the pack, sent it to him, and asked him what his thoughts are, what these fuckers actually are. Because I didn't know they were called cheroots. I didn't know the whole idea of them. I thought they were just cheap cigars, basically. And so ChatGPT enlightened me that this is basically the lowest, cheapest swill you can put in your lungs. Arguably worse than normal cigarettes. As my consultation with ChatGPT unfolded, I started to paint a very vivid picture of the type of customers who would use this product. The most dirty, depraved street urchins. I imagined Malay, Asian peasants, rotting teeth, just looking grim and greasy, waiting on the corner of the street for their bus, chain smoking these cheroots into oblivion. And immediately this started to latch onto my identity. I was about to start smoking the next cheroot, and I pictured these peasants, and I thought, is this really the level I'm stooping to? Is this who I want to associate with? And obviously I had a little bit of paranoia because ChatGPT warned me about the health effects and stuff, but that was sort of background noise. I was far more concerned with the identity that I was embodying, the kind of man who would use these cheroots. And then I had a very contrasting visualization. I imagined myself big, jacked, strong, successful, wearing a flannel shirt, khaki trousers, on a summer evening, looking over the city on my penthouse balcony. I have a cigar in my hand. It's the highest of quality, but even more importantly, it's not my vice that I consume every day. It's very deliberate. It's my once a week treat for divergent thinking, creativity, and just reflecting. And as I'm having this cigar, looking out over the city, feeling like the absolute man after a day of conquering, I imagine the cheroot peasant. It's not possible to have a larger divide between these two versions I could possibly become, right? And that made it super easy to decisively quit before I even began to form this thing into a habit. Because it could have happened. If I hadn't consulted with ChatGPT like an overthinking, analyzing autist, I could have very easily just started to smoke these cheroots on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. I could have got very quickly sucked into the rabbit hole and just become a dirty smoker. But because of the version of myself that I want to become and how incompatible that identity is with that habit, I felt this primal disgust, this deep revulsion that went far beyond regret or shame or guilt. It was like my whole body was just refusing to accept this substance into me. And so I had a choice to make. I had 7 of these cheroots left. I could finish them and then stop. Have them over the course of the week and then I'm done for good, right? Then I thought, okay, I'll throw them, but how about just one more? Just one more. But these are the exact same thought patterns that used to keep me stuck for years in weed addiction, porn, junk food, simping, scrolling, Netflix, the whole lot, right? So there was only one choice, to be honest with you. I had to destroy them permanently, a ritualistic crushing of the dirty peasant who I did not want to become. So that's what I did. I took these dry, cheap tobacco and I crumbled them up in my hands, really feeling the identity being crumbled away as well. I threw them away and I'm done. I have no desire to go back to them. Because identity is not just who you want to be, it's who you refuse to be. When I visualized myself as this penthouse baller and I had the cheroot in my hand, I had to think to myself, if I am that man, I have to start acting like him now. That man cannot behave like this. That man does not smoke this dirty street swill. You see, when you attach identity to these habits, these addictions, these vices, they become infinitely easier to remove from your life forever. No willpower, no white knuckling, no resisting cravings. Literally just slice them out because I am not that guy. You see, there's this thing called cognitive dissonance where your identity does not align with your actions. It's a
very painful state to be in, and most people resolve it by just lowering their identity to comfort themselves and match with their vices. However, we do things differently around here. We change our behavior. We allow it to rise to our identity. We are kings, not cheroot smoking dirty peasants, right? When I framed this cheroot in my head, I didn't stop it because it was bad for my health. Because, like I said, that was sort of background noise. I didn't really care about it. It wasn't an immediate threat. I framed it as incompatible with the man I want to become. We don't need willpower. We need persuasion at the identity level. When I crushed this pack of cheroots, I wasn't giving up smoking. I was crushing the dirty peasant inside me. And you're no different. It's probably not cheroots for you, but it may be Netflix, junk food, Tinder, porn, video games, drugs, weed. You know exactly what your cheroot looks like and how pathetic it makes you feel every single time you tell yourself, I'm going to stop one last time, and then you go back to it again. You just can't seem to stop, right? You tell yourself, enough is enough. You get so sick of yourself, you might even give up for a week, and then bam, right back to the usual shit. I've been through that as well, brother. It sucks. For years, I failed to quit these addictions. I relapsed. I lied to myself. I would literally break down and cry with frustration some nights because I just couldn't seem to stop, no matter what I tried, no matter what I did, no matter how much I resisted the craving. Here's what I wish I would have known. Number one, biology will always drag you down. Your brain is hardwired to look for the path of least resistance and to always get the next easy fix. Discipline, it will give up on you eventually, but identity will always come out on top. Once you start associating these habits, these addictions with a version you find absolutely repulsive, and you start to visualize what that apex version of yourself would do, the contrast just becomes way too painful, and you tell yourself you just can't keep living like this, and so you stop. It's almost effortless. Once you have this contrast of identities where you have this version that disgusts you and this aspirational figure who you want to be, the perfect way to seal the process is with a ritual, like what I did with the symbolic crushing of the dirty peasant. This is like a closed loop in your brain. It doesn't need closure from one last hit or anything. It just needs a sort of ceremonial salute. Goodbye, my addiction. Hello, my new life. I think back to this stoned loser who was burning his life to the ground every single day, finding new ways to sabotage himself, getting fired from every single job he had, painting the walls with his cum 5 times a day, smoking weed 5 times a day, eating junk food every single time he felt even a slight craving. I can't believe that was me, because my identity has shifted so many times since then that it's hard to picture how I was actually living with myself. Well, let me tell you, I was escaping from reality. I was fantasizing about one day I'm gonna make it, living in daydream land. And even last year, when I had stopped smoking weed while I was stone cold sober, but still living like a comfort-seeking cuck, just getting absolutely bullied by the world, bullied by my own negative thoughts, looking in the mirror, skinny fat mess, deep self-hatred, in talking to myself in the most revolting way imaginable. I also can't believe that was me, and I don't think that wretched creature would have believed the internal reality that I've created for myself now, and the way that it has manifested into living this beautiful life here in Thailand, living the dream, building my vision, looking jacked and handsome, getting more tanned every single day. Man, this wouldn't have been possible if I was chasing quick tips, easy hacks, shiny objects, and cheap gimmicks. It was only possible once I fully committed to recalibrating my mindset and shifting my identity. That's exactly what we do inside my program. We use getting ripped as a tool to level up the rest of your life. We don't get ripped for summer. We get ripped to take control, because it's the perfect stepping stone towards self-mastery. And this goes far deeper than the surface level. We don't stop at a simple training program and meal plan. We reprogram you at the core identity level. We build the man who is capable not just of achieving the physique, but keeping it. So if you've been struggling, brother, if you've been trying to figure things out on your own, like I wasted years doing, and you're sick of just banging your head against the wall and sliding back into your old ways because you just don't know what to do, you're overwhelmed, I'd love to help you out. Click the link below, see what I have to offer, and I'll be in touch. Have a victorious day, brother. I'll see you when I see you.